Hello, my name is Andy West. I'm the Behavioral Health Prevention Early Intervention Grant Manager. I just wanted to share with you today the progress from our grant. We're a little over 2.5 years into the grant at this point. So I just wanted to share with you what we've been doing and also to say thank you for being our financial agent and just the impact that you're having on our island. So thank you. We're following a strategic prevention framework process that's designated by the state. It's pretty strict in its objectives and how we go through our process. We have 6 communities involved. We are one of only 2 grantees in the state that is a multi-site. The first year of our grant was heavily focused on finding out what the needs of our community were. And so we did this by completing a community needs assessment. Every community was randomly sampled and completed their community needs assessment. From that data, each community chose a top priority for their community that they wanted to see changed or impacted in a positive way. For example, like prevention of depression or prevention of drugs, etc. Year 2 of our grant was focused on then from the top priority that every community chose. That we went through the process of creating a logic model and developing between 1 and 2 strategies to try to impact that top priority at a community level. We're coming up on 3/4 of the year done with year 3, which is our implementation year, which is my favorite part because it's the part where we're actually going to do something. We have completed purchasing all of the supplies and equipment for all 6 communities. They're very excited. They are just now starting to receive those. This next part, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about the communities themselves and let individual community members, coalition members from the community share with you what their strategies are, so you can get a glimpse and see what's some of the great things that are going on here because of the grant. So, thank you.
Craig is the largest city on Prince of Wales Island. It's founded in the late 1800s. Also, Prince of Wales is located in Tongass National Park, the largest national park in the United States of America. The prominent industries are timber, logging, and the sawmill, fishing, both commercial and sport fishing. We developed 2 strategies for preventing underage drinking. We created a movie theater because there's not really hardly anything to do other than camping, hiking, fishing. The other strategy that we're going to do in the community is utilizing BAC strips. They are a disposable saliva test strips. We're going to be handing them out to coaches and parents throughout the community to discourage underage drinking.
The city of Heidelberg was founded in 1912. During the 1700s, a group of Haida people crossed Dixon Entrance to Prince of Wales Island. The first migration landed in Kasan. Others came later and established major settlements in 6 other locations. In 1911, these villages consolidated in Heidelberg. Today, Heidelberg is the most populous community of Haida in the United States. The community is rooted in tribal values and relies on historical and cultural relationships to the land and sea in a traditional manner. From our community needs assessment, Heidelberg has chosen the prevention of domestic violence as their primary focus. The 2 strategies we developed are connecting to our culture through the drum making workshop and restarting our traditional native dancing.
Kasan gets its name from the Tlingit word meaning pretty town or pretty village. Haida people migrated north from Haida Gwaii, formerly and still in part known as Queen Charlotte Island, and established the village Kasan, known as Old Kasan or Scowl Arm, 7 miles from today's Kasan. There is a short trail that leads out of Kasan to Kasan Totem Park and Chief Sunhat Whale House. The Whale House is the only standing Haida longhouse in the United States. From the Community Needs Assessment, we chose prevention of depression as our primary focus. Here in Kasan, Alaska, we have long dark days during the winter, and we also have a lot of rain. There are 2 community strategies we are implementing. One is we have purchased seasonal affective disorder lights. We put them in our school and on our community hall. The second one is we are purchasing exercise equipment so that we can be active all winter long.
Klawock is named after a warrior named Klawa, a Tlingit native from Mariah Sound that moved his clan to a summer fishing camp, which is now the town site of Klawock. In 1878, the first cannery in Alaska was built here. Klawock is a significant center of Tlingit culture. Its totem park has 21 totem poles that are replicas of the original totem poles that stood in Tuxacan, the winter village of the Hinya Kwan people. From the Community Needs Assessment that was given 2 years ago, our coalition has decided that prevention of drugs will be our primary focus. The coalition came up with 2 strategies for the prevention of drugs and alcohol in our community. The first is that family togetherness and being together as a family is the most significant tool that will prevent kids. And one of the strategies that we wanted was that the families come together to work on regalia. As the children are growing, they outgrow their regalia. And so the coalition chose to gather the families together to work on the pieces that the children have outgrown, which is their regalia. And the second prevention strategy is we invited a Haida warrior. His name is Rudy Nix, who was a professional boxer, and he has a way of motivating the children on the island to not do drugs, to stay in school. So that was one of the other strategies that Klawock chose to prevent kids from doing drugs.
The town site was named Nocatee Bay in 1904 by the U.S. Coast and Geodetic Survey, recording it as a local native name. Nocatee was a logging camp at one time, but was later settled through state land disposal sales. With logging and homesteading at its roots, Nocatee residents value their rural Alaskan lifestyle of fishing, hunting, gathering and growing food, gathering firewood, and their independence. Unfortunately, the void of economic opportunity has often led to isolation, resignation or hopelessness, and addiction. From our community needs assessment, we chose prevention of alcohol abuse as our primary focus. Nocatee has chosen a community center for our community strategy. We're creating a place for adults of all ages to complete their GED if they haven't completed a high school education. It's also for community members to access support services online. Despite their fierce independence, isolation, and sometimes bitter grudges, community members have demonstrated time and again the ability to lay differences aside and help one another. Building on this attribute, Neighbors Helping Neighbors is being organized to offer a safe place to come together, to explore opportunities for advancement, and to provide positive alternatives to substance abuse. We're excited to start our strategy of Neighbors Helping Neighbors soon.
The city of Thorn Bay was brought to where it sits now by the Ketchikan Pulp Company in 1961. It was known for a while as the largest log camp in the world, and the city government was essentially run by one camp boss who decided what hours people worked, where they lived, and when they drank alcohol, and he even decided that women could not drive. So it's said that the women were the ones who drove the legislation to make the city an incorporated second-class city in 1982. As you come into Thorn Bay, one of the first things you'll see is what we call the Claw, which is actually one of the world's largest log handling grapples. And it was saved from the scrap pile by a former Forest Service ranger who saw it as something worth keeping rather than selling to a scrap metal collector. From our community needs assessment, we chose prevention of drugs as our primary focus. We came up with two strategies for our community. One is a Prime for Life training that we're going to be using as a partnership with the school district. The other strategy is we're buying 3 large tents to host community events, to get people out of their homes, get them together and act like a family again.